Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan and welcome back to the Dark Mike Returns, Issue 3. It's the Last Ronin. We are going to be more than halfway through the miniseries after today. This is Issue 3 of 5. And look, we've got the death of Casey Jones. I don't think it's any surprise after the second issue that Casey Jones is going to get his death flashback in this issue. We know that he's gone. For a second, in the last issue, we're made to believe that maybe he's still around for a second when Michelangelo is like, wait a minute, April, you're calling for Casey? And then we find out, of course, that her daughter's name is Casey Marie Jones, who did not get her first appearance last issue, but of course in the first issue. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get right into this. Once again, we're going to read the whole thing down, and I'm going to stop occasionally for comments and discussion. If you're watching live, thanks for being here. If you're watching after the fact, thanks for doing that as well. I realize that a lot of folks, these are long, and this is going to be a 5+ hour endeavor, so if you've got to take your time, and it's going to be a while before you watch each of these, obviously pace yourself. I don't expect these to get hit real hard right away, but if you have already made it with me this far, thanks a bunch for listening. Hope you're enjoying it, and let me know what you think about these issues and some of the individual ideas and elements that we're going to be discussing. Here we go. So, Last Ronin number 3. Once again, all of the same usual suspects working on this book. Last Ronin Part 3, Fight or Flight. And we've got our first flashback for our bad guy here. And it says, then. And so we mark yet another critical milestone in the long venerated history of the Foot Clan. On the occasion of his 16th year of life, and as is his manifest duty as sole heir to the throne, we have gathered to raise up the grandson to Oroku Saki and son to Oroku Karai. Maybe not the smartest idea to let this guy take over at 16 years old. Oroku Hiroto, do you swear now unto death your fealty to the Foot Clan, to become the master you were born to be? Yes. I swear my undying loyalty to all here, my most decorated generals, and to all who serve under you. With great honor and humility, I rise. If memory serves, there's kind of a little bit of this in IDW with Shredder. It seems like the word rise comes up quite a bit. So it is a little bit weird to hear Hiroto using words like honor and especially humility, because he certainly doesn't have those things when he becomes the sole dictator of New York, when he gets all totalitarian and decides that he is a god and owns everyone and they should all worship him. And so the question we're asking ourselves here is probably, does he really mean this, or did he change in some way? And I'll get into this later. This is starting to introduce some of my main issues with this book. I've mostly been really praising this. I think by the third issue, some seams start to show a little bit. Overall, I still really like this book, but I kind of alluded to this with the first issue, that my biggest problems with this have to do with the villain, with Hiroto, and he's maybe not as interesting as he could be. Like I said there, he is kind of a petulant child and sort of needs to be for the sake of the story, but I still think that he could be a more three-dimensional character, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. So he says, I rise. It has been 10 years since my beloved mother and our former master, Oroku Karai, was critically injured in her battle with the mutants of the Hamato clan. She has remained comatose since that fateful day, unable to lead our forces in the resulting bloody and costly war. So she's in a coma for a real long time. As was my destiny, I studied and trained for this moment when, by birthright, I could continue to build upon her and my grandfather's honorable legacy. General Oyama, I am prepared to issue my first command as your new liege. I'm going to assume that this Oyama guy has already been murdered by Hiroto by the time we get to the future, to the present day of this story. And we are prepared to obey Master Hiroto, unless we see him somewhere, but I don't think we do. unless he's one of the generals that got killed at the beginning, but or the general. I don't think he is, though. Good. The war has gone on far too long. The time has come to speak of peace. So this is kind of a shocker that he's talking about peace and that he is trying to create a new truce with the Mondo clan, with Splinter and the Turtles, because of what we see in the future, that he has no interest whatsoever in peace and just wants to quelch anyone who stands in his way, and that he hates the Mono clan kind of more than anything. And so, like I said, the big question is, did he change somewhere, or is this all a ruse? And we'll get to that in a little bit. So he says, now is our timestamp at the top. We are ready for you now, Master Hiroto. Very well. I'm not sure what the big vat of pinkness is in the middle there. Maybe that's... I mean, it's probably not any form of ooze. I'm just looking at him like, what is that? Is he trying to make a Lazarus pit? I don't know. I don't think that comes up. I don't think we ever know what that is. Pay careful attention, Mother. Time to remind the city who is master. She can't really pay attention because, she's in a coma. I want this broadcast in every part of the city at once. No exceptions. Let us begin. Denizens of New York. This guy really likes to talk. My people, my city. For nearly 2 decades, pay attention to just how massive he makes his hologram. He's got to lord over everybody. He's got to look as if he is a god, and he is kind of even duped himself into thinking that he is a deity, that he is nice, supernatural. For nearly 2 decades, I have kept you safe, protected, allowed you to prosper at will. My will. I alone decide your fate. None of these people have real freedom at all. So hear me now. Heed what I have to say. There is a monster in our midst. This creature, this assassin, cowardly attacked this sacred ground with one terroristic mission in mind: to tear down all that I have built and to kill me. God, this guy's wordy. This treasonous affront is unacceptable, unfathomable, unforgivable. I'm just going to add some more. Unforgettable, unmitigatable, and other words that mean basically the same thing. Any crime against me is punishable by death. I'm not sure why the bold color around death is pink, and also around and to kill me. It's an odd choice. I'm not sure why it's pink. No stone will be left unturned until this beast is captured, and I will personally execute final justice. He sounds like he's in a Mortal Kombat game or something. Tonight, and until further notice, the entire city will be under, dun dun dun, martial law. It kind of already feels like it's under martial law, right? Like, we're going to find out how much worse it is for the citizens when he's really putting his foot down and being even more controlling and locking down. But it already kind of feels like we're in a police state here. Obey my soldiers. Return to your homes. Await my orders. And know this: anyone foolish enough to harbor this terrorist insurgent will not suffer its fate. No, yours will be far worse. He's got his cyborg foot soldiers shooting the crowd with water hoses and stuff. Your master has spoken. Man, this got real bad real fast. These are Casey's friends, I think. Yeah, and they've got all communications jammed. We need to get to Jones ASAP. I guess it's possible that there's a little bit of an homage with some of these guys to other characters in Ninja Turtles lore. Like, this guy's got a little bit of a Bebop look going on. There's got, like, you look at these two guys, there's maybe a little bit of a Bebop Rocksteady thing going on. I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just, kind of thug-ish looking characters, like street-level characters in Ninja Turtles. Because obviously they're not going to act like those characters. Hi, James Curry. How you doing, man? Gotta admit, Casey Marie is pretty damn impressive. So we've got the Turtles, once again, in the shot with Michelangelo, but still in his mind, talking to him, book smart and street smart. Tough, too, but she's crazy if she thinks she's gonna help find Hiroto. Ain't that right, Mike? What? I mean, yeah, right. She's just a child. Good call. She can't be more than 17 years old, 16, and already tangling with the Foot Clan. Sound familiar? There's a lot of stuff in this about vicious cycles, everything, history always repeats itself. Apples to oranges, Mikey. We trained our entire lives. And I think this is also making a case for maybe continuing the series on or doing a follow-up. When you listen to Eastman and Tom Waltz talk about this book, they talk about how they're intentionally establishing like a new Turtles continuity, and I've talked about this already, but that it's ambiguous. It's not really set in any pre-established Turtles continuity, but it's building on some things that you know. So it's just generically the background is more or less what you remember for classic Ninja Turtles. So we could continue forward from this, and the idea would be kind of, I don't know, like Turtles Beyond or more Dark Knight Returns, like in the future, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so I would not be surprised, especially with the popularity of this book, because it sold really well, and it's hard to get first printings now of the first issue, and even if some of the others' first printings are not super cheap. And so with just the single issues, and the trades are selling well, and so I would not be surprised, and I haven't heard an announcement, I haven't been keeping up, so maybe something like this is already announced, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Casey Marie Jones got her own follow-up miniseries to this. Apples to oranges, Mikey. We trained our entire lives, and she ain't a mutant, bro. She's just a kid. Casey and April's kid. And we were Splinter's kids, and Karai was Shredder's, and Hiroto's hers. And here we all are, back to square one, back to the dark. So Michelangelo is really ready, and again, he's the right character to do this with. He's really ready to end this vicious cycle. Before he had a kind of a death wish, maybe there's still some of that, but now he's got there's more at stake. He didn't realize April was still alive. He's starting to come to care about her kid. He doesn't want to see her make the same mistakes they did, and maybe less about mistakes and more just this life that they got sucked into. He's not really even making any judgment calls on Splinter or himself and his brothers, so much as just this is the unfortunate fate they were locked into, and he hates to see that happen to another kid. But as we go along, he's also going to help her in embracing that, because what else is she going to do but fight Hiroto? But right now, of course, he doesn't want her to do that. Hi, he says. Whoa, easy. This is Casey coming in. I was just wondering if this was some kind of ninja thing I should know about. Talking to yourself in the dark? No, it's not. And it takes way more than sneaking up on somebody to make you one. The writing there is a little bit weird, just noun-verb agreement. He means to make you a ninja. Sorry, wasn't trying to be sneaky. The door was open and you seemed... Never mind. Sorry. Anyway, Mom wants to see you. I'm heading topside to check in with my crew. I don't think that's a good idea, Casey. You are the funny one. I wasn't asking for permission. And I don't think she knows yet about Hiroto's big godlike announcement. That's not what I was... I just watch your back up there. Sure, good plan. And I'll keep working on my ninja skills while I'm at it. Straight ahead and to the left, Mom's in her lab. Kid thinks she knows everything. I don't know why one eye is closed. Smartass, stubborn, little, and she's way too damn young to be that old. He sighs, same as it ever was. Really like the writing here. April, Casey said you wanted to see me, and then he has now revealed to, or pardon me, the The head of the Fugitoid is now revealed to Michelangelo, just like it was revealed to us last issue. There's some weird stuff with forced perspective with the Fugitoid head, where in some panels like this, it just looks absolutely massive. And I realize it's supposed to be, it's in the foreground, and she's a little further back, so it looks bigger than it actually is. But I think it looks too big. I think the forced perspective is kind of wrong. That's just me. I think there's another shot like that a little bit later where it just looks like it's taking up a great deal of this room. Hey, come in. Fugitoid? Yep. All that's left of him, anyway. Holy crap. You gotta stop doing this to me. Sorry, was hoping to ease you back into everything, but things are about to get crazy around here. About to. I like the dots on the back of Michelangelo's head, and choices, as we get a lot in modern turtle stuff in making the turtles look like slightly different kinds of turtles and giving them unique physical attributes. Oh, here's that panel. It's a full page spread where the Fugitoid head looks like a 4.5 foot statue. I think it's time we get busy with all that catching up you keep talking about, April. Yeah, me too. So like last issue, a lot of this is going to be flashback. All systems cross-checked, and you are ready for flight. So we've transitioned from the present day with the Fugitoid head that is offline to flashback where they're working with Fugitoid, building up to spoiler alert, Casey's death here in a little bit, and I was going to say something that I forget. I'll just keep going here. You will have to remain radio silent the entire trip in order to avoid detection. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I really liked last issue where we kept the flashbacks in scene all the time, and there were clear transitions in and out of what's going on in the present day, and we kind of still have this here, but I liked it better when it was and I guess you can't do it the same way all the time, but we had this kind of framing device of April just remembering things in the moment, and maybe the idea here, well, no, actually, this does still work now that I'm thinking about it, because he says it's time to do that catching up, and she says, me too, and now we're getting a flashback. So I guess we don't go into her saying, okay, so Michelangelo, this is what happened, but I guess we're supposed to infer that that's what's going on, that she's telling him the backstory now. So no, that does still work. That tracks. It's consistent. Never mind. Sometimes I have to suss these things out in the moment. You will have to remain radio silent the entire trip in order to avoid detection. Just be sure to disable the cloak as soon as you're over the ocean to preserve the electrical charge. It's a long flight, Donatello, and expending your fuel cells without a backup power source will make it an even longer swim. Gotcha, Professor Honeycutt. That was a joke, by the way, and very funny, I might add. Remember, that's not me talking, that's Fugitoid. I didn't think that joke was very funny at all. Remember, that's the joke, though. Jokes are always funny when you explain them. Remember, our strikers cannot appear to be in an aggressive posture in New York while we are simultaneously engaged in peace talks with the Foot Clan in Japan. That's Splinter. Maybe I should have given him like a old rat voice. Understood. This is Leonardo. But I also remember what happened the last time the Foot called for a truce, Master Splinter. Do you really think it's legit, Hiroto's parlay? I don't. This is Michelangelo talking. Interesting that Michelangelo is already kind of this cynical about things. I don't. He's an Oroku. They all lie. In the past, yes. So we're really keeping in mind how Michelangelo is evolving and shifting and becoming a little bit more glass half empty. But as in Oroku, Hiroto has also lost much in this war, just as we have. Perhaps the young master tires of all the senseless bloodshed as well. Maybe the time has come at last to finally close the book on the feud. Now, that's not going to happen. And his predecessors honored many ancient traditions, regardless of our clan's long-standing enmity. As it is, Oroku Hiroto is respectfully asking, so I am willing to try to reach a peaceful understanding. We can only hope his intentions are pure, my sons, but we will not let our guard down either. Be strong. You will see, we will see you all again soon. And now we get to elderly Baxter Stockman, and I have no idea what's going on in his head. I assume that those 3 pieces of metal are some kind of a mind link-up thing with his computers, but I don't know what's going on there. They're leaving. Ready the strike team. No more hiding behind your little mutant friends, honeycut. So anytime in a comic book or these days, like TV shows and movies based on any source material, when I see a street corner like this with 2 street names, I always assume that they must be probably references to something. So I looked into this. Bleecker is a street in the Ninja Turtles 1990 movie. There's that scene with 11th and Bleecker, and so I'm pretty sure that's why that's there. And Sullivan could be a couple of different things. I looked into this too. There are a couple of different artists in Mirage, books published by Mirage that worked on Ninja Turtles in the 90s, and I don't remember one of them. One of them worked on the series based on the 87 cartoon, and I forget what the other one did, but that might be a reference to one or both of those. Street 3 to Top 1 needs some eyes on the big rig that snuggled up to the construction site a few days ago. Looks like it got some company in the last few hours. I think they're public works trucks, but I'm not seeing any workers. Roger, we've got eyes on, opening the channel to the whole team for additional tracking. Copy that. I'll grab some backup and drift that way a bit. Stockman to Captain Lee, you may begin when ready. Remember, the robot must remain intact. Kill everyone else. So the big reveal that we're getting here with Stockman and his group is this whole thing with Hiroto was a ruse all along. It's a trap. Hiroto never intended on a truce, and I think that's a little bit of a misstep in the story. I think, and I don't want to rewrite things, but I think it's handled a little bit clunky, and I just don't think it's as interesting as it could be. So I'll go ahead and talk about this a little bit here. What I find kind of dissatisfying about it is that Hiroto has every reason for what Splinter was just talking about to maybe want a truce with the Ninja Turtles. And thematically, it would be interesting to have a Hiroto in the past who had a period of time where he was starting to be a little bit more enlightened and tired of all of the kind of senseless violence. And then the Michelangelo in the future that also has that. So they would have something in common at certain points in their lives. Like there's a point, and they just don't converge in the present day in the timeline. But wouldn't it be interesting if you had a Hiroto who felt like Michelangelo does now, and Hiroto has lost himself, and he's been corrupted by power, and he likes being a god. And you have Michelangelo who never had the godhood thing, of course, but used to just thirst for adventure and loved fighting the Foot Clan because of just his adventurous spirit, of getting to be a superhero. And then violence takes his family, and it's real now, and it's not fun anymore. And he goes up against a Hiroto who who's lost himself and isn't in reality, in a similar but more backwards, messed up, perverse way as Michelangelo when he was just kind of playing at being a hero. This kid is playing at being a god. That's not really what you have. What it is instead is just a kid who is at 16 given power too early, and maybe this is realistic, but it's just not as interesting to me. And he is just doing this ruse where he's pretending like he's going to try to have peace with the Turtles and Splinter, but the whole thing is a way just to get them killed, and it mostly works. The part of it I don't understand, we'll flip back for a second, is he tells his followers, he tells the Foot Clan that the time has come to speak of peace. So I don't know why he's deceiving them, because, and we've had these stories in Ninja Turtles before, where when you have somebody like Karai or someone that takes over the Foot Clan after the Shredder and wants to make peace with the Turtles, or is no longer interested in taking over the city, sometimes you'll have people that will revolt. Sometimes you'll kind of split the church, as it were, where you've got people who are loyal to the Shredder who still want whatever it was the Shredder wanted. And so I would think it would be sort of a risk for him to be deceiving his own people in order to make this ruse work. And I'm just not sure how it benefits him. I don't really know what it gets him to pretend even to his followers that that's what he's doing. So those are my reservations about that, and it's kind of my biggest issue with the book. But we'll see as we move forward now on a second read with all of this, if maybe some of it wins me back over a little bit. So yeah, we're back to this page. Stockman to Captain Lee, you may begin when ready. Remember, the robot must remain intact. Kill everyone else. Let's go to stage 1 alert. I want a few more bodies on the roof and on the street. Let's get some drones up top too. I think that should say up top too, but it says up to top, which is weird. I'm going to assume that that is a typo. Want to make sure we're covered. Top 1, you copy? Oh, maybe top. No, never mind. I guess top is what he's calling the other person. A lot of this kind of technical jargon seems unnecessary to me. He gets attacked, and then a heads up, we got movement on Ack incoming. We're under attack. Idiots! This is Old Man Stockman. Less than 30 seconds to... I would read a book called Old Man Stockman. Less than 30 seconds to compromise the entire mission. Captain Lee, acquire the target and get the hell out of there. I'm sending in the prototypes to help you clumsy fools. Written pretty consistent, but now a little bit crotchety. I think Stockman as an old man is really funny. What are we looking at? Asked Leonardo. The alarm came from the sewer defenses, sir. We've got Foot Ninja coming at us from all angles. Damn it, how did they find us? Listen up. Leonardo's got a get-up here that seems like a little bit of callback to his Chunin uniform in IDW when he's brainwashed and working for the Shredder. Lock down all the other doors and take your positions. I want every access point covered. Casey, what's your location? The hangar. Me and Mike grabbed April and Honeycutt soon as we heard the alarms. We're getting ready to head your way with the rest of the tech crew. Mike, take point. Me and the strikers got the... Oh, holy hell! Casey, I'm good, Leo. There are some panels here where I can't always tell, especially what's going on in some of the action. Like, what's going on in the background here? Oh, I guess it's just an explosion. Okay. I guess the problem is just the small panels. We got bogies blasting through all the bay doors and rooftop access ports. We going underground? Negative. Sewer levels are breached, too. Pull back to the main compound and get as many as you can into the safe room. It's kind of interesting to see Leonardo running point like this with basically a whole army. It's not just him and his family anymore. I also do like, because I think this could have been too bogged down with boring and unnecessary flashbacks. You know, sometimes with a story like this, there's a part of me that would love to see a version of it where the whole thing is just told linearly, where we would begin with the death of Casey Jones and the Turtles and all of that, and just see how Michelangelo evolves in sequence, chronologically, and then by, I don't know, issue 3 or 4, you'd get the first issue. But that's not really where the actual story is. And so, like, as much panel time as we're taking up with the flashbacks, I don't think it's nonlinear storytelling so much as this really is giving us the background that we need. And it works because it's really informing Michelangelo's character and, again, how he evolved and became who he is now. So I take this kind of thing on a case by case. Sometimes you'll get stories where it feels really gimmicky to start in the present and then jump backwards, but this works because this isn't really the story. But I also like that we get some panel time with the other turtles and see their actual end. There's probably a way to tell this story where you never see the other turtles and it's all just Michelangelo. But I'm won over on that choice, again, because of how much it informs our protagonist and how he becomes kind of an amalgamation of the four, like I've talked about before. Copy that. We're at the back of the shop now. We'll get everyone secured, then head your way with some strikers. The faster, the better, Case. We've got a second wave moving in. Never seen these foot before. They look heavily armored, and damn it. Damn it. Casey, about that backup. Hurry. Nasty looking buggers. This is Michelangelo. Yeah, I told you guys, the Foot Clan are nothing but liars. I hear you, Mike, but first things first, bro. And you notice, Michelangelo at this point is not jokey anymore. Already. Even before he loses all of his family. Get my wife and Honeycutt to safety. I said before that I called them engaged. I guess they were announcing to the turtles before they got, or they were trying to announce to the turtles before they got attacked in the store, in the second time around store, that they were married and not engaged. And at first I was like, they didn't have the turtles at their wedding. If that's unless they were announcing their engagement and then they got attacked and then somewhere in the interim they got married, but I don't think that's what happened. I think this is all happening immediately after that, unless I'm missing something. But and then I thought, well, the turtles are, obviously not out in public and nobody knows about them. And if you had somebody like, who could you have come in and officiate that where it would be a real marriage? And you'd get a marriage license where the turtles are able to be there without telling some efficient this big bombshell news that he can't tell anybody. So maybe it makes sense if they got married without the turtles there. Get my wife and Honeycutt to safety, then we'll see what these wimps got. Leonardo is in bad shape. Come on, safe rooms this way, but Casey and Leo will be fine if we hurry. This is Stockman's doing. This is Honeycutt now. He's found a way to track me. You two, topside. Nobody passes. Honeycutt ends up being kind of a fugitoid, kind of the MacGuffin of this whole piece. Roger, watch your six. They're coming in everywhere. And now we've got a crazy, scary, kind of robot-looking foot soldier. I don't know if this one's a cyborg or just straight-up robots now, but I like the idea of doing a mix of both, where up until now, as we're kind of transitioning into the future, we've had just human foot soldiers, and then we start using robots or cyborgs, like in the 87 show, but we make them scary. Almost there. What the hell are those things? They can't be human. Let's find out. So now we're going to, and I don't know how everybody's going to feel about this. I think it works okay in this context, but Casey Jones is going to start just reading the script from the 90s Ninja Turtles movie. The class is Pain 101, and your instructor is Casey, no! And then he says Goongala Goongala, like he does famously his kind of iconic panel in the Mirage Eastman and Laird Turtles series, where I forget what exactly the issue is, but when they fight Splinter in the store, Goongala is kind of his big catchphrase. And so we get both of those things. We get a classic line from the 90s movie and Goongala Goongala at the same time. I can see a person reading that as irritating fan service or as just the way this character talks, and we haven't really had 90s movie lines in a lot of Ninja Turtles comics, so maybe it's okay to just put that in there as a thing he would say. These days I tend to be kind of on the fence about when it's okay to do that and when it's not, but just in the moment as I was reading this, I didn't find it too intrusive. And I'll admit that sometimes I enjoy those kinds of callbacks, and sometimes I feel like we lean on them too much. If the story is really good, and that's not all it has to offer, I tend to like it better. Target acquired. This is Stockman. Bring him to me. Wait, says Fugitoid. Oh, no, you don't. And Michelangelo is attacking a foot soldier. So, I guess this is just straight up robot foot soldier. So, Michelangelo is... Hello, Senior Sticks. How's it going? Michelangelo is deeply intertwined in all of the flashback stuff. We do a good job of keeping it from his perspective and making him essential to the background stuff as well as the present day stuff. And I don't think it's too like hackneyed or contrived, where like he's the last person who spoke to Splinter, and he is trying to save Fugitoid. And so when these things come back later, especially April having Fugitoid's head, he's not out of the loop, but also he's got like an emotional investment in all of that, because he wasn't just there, he was deeply intertwined in all of that. And I'm really buying him stepping up and taking such a leadership role because he lost Splinter, and that's really lit a fire under him. Senior Sticks, Cap, which turtle are you, including Slash and the robot turtle? I don't know, like, as a kid, I've said this before, I identified most with Donatello. If you include everything that looks like a turtle, I want to say Metalhead. I don't know if I, like, identify with the character of Metalhead so much as just I thought he had a really rad look when I was a kid, and it was fun to have a robot turtle, and then he is a fascinating character in IDW when he gets Donatello's memory engrams and then becomes an evolved version of Donatello. And then I guess once you get to that, they're not the same answer, but they're related characters. So I don't know. So like, which one am I? As far as like which one am I personality-wise most like? Probably a Leonardo, honestly, more than anybody. But if I got to pick which one I would get to be for a day, it'd probably be Metalhead. James Curry says, as far as what I was just talking about with throwback dialogue, if you don't notice it right away, I don't think it's bad. Yeah, but I did notice that one right away, and sometimes, I don't know, like sometimes I feel bad for falling into the fanboy trap, where I'll see a thing like that and I'll be like, oh cool, you know, I understood that reference, but then sometimes I'm rolling my eyes because it's too intrusive, in that it does, I think it, even if you do notice it right away, I think sometimes when it works, it's because it really does seem like a thing that character would say right then, right? As opposed to you shoved it in and it just doesn't even make sense in the context of the scene. But I'll admit I've had times where you'll have like a reveal at the end of a comic and a character will quote a thing I like, and I'll be like, oh, that was like a clever usage of that. And there's other times where I'm like, okay, some of it's quantity, too. These days, we rely on it too much, and so I'm more sensitive to it than I might have been at one time. There's a Batman comic from, I want to say, like, beginning of Rebirth somewhere. Maybe it was before that, I can't remember. But where you had a Joker at the end of the first issue of whatever this book was, who says, wait till they get a load of me. And I thought it was a really cool use of that line. Then that series ended up being terrible. I don't remember what that series is, but like sometimes I really dig it, and it's going to be somewhat subjective, of course. But anyway, moving right along. Thanks for watching, guys. So there's another explosion. Bah, imbeciles! This is crotchety old man Stockman. Send in the Mousers now, all of them. I want that Fugitoid. So again, lots of cool Ninja Turtle stuff in this. You've got Casey Jones' daughter being named Casey Jones. You have an elderly Stockman. We're back to the Mousers. All the big iconic stuff where it doesn't really matter, for the most part, except for maybe with Fugitoid. It doesn't really matter what turtle stuff you're familiar with. You're probably going to appreciate this stuff if it would even occur to you to pick up this book. I I would say that there is an entry-level point to appreciate this book. This probably shouldn't be your first Turtles thing. I would be interested to see if somebody, sort of like Dark Knight Returns, would maybe read this book and still enjoy it and not feel lost if they weren't familiar with a lot of this iconography, because Dark Knight Returns was kind of a big jumping-on point for a lot of Batman fans, weirdly, even though it was out of continuity and set in the future. And maybe there's a little bit of prerequisite there too. I mean, you probably should know who Two-Face is. You probably should know who Joker is. Everybody knows who Superman is, but most people are going to know that stuff. Ninja Turtles, those things are slightly more obscure in pop culture than in Batman, but I would say that most people my age that grew up with any Ninja Turtles at all knows what a mouse and robot is. But not everybody's going to. So, anyway, I want that Fugitoid. Hockey ain't your thing, huh? Let's try cricket instead. He's still going back to 1990 movie. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. So, we are doing a really good job giving Casey a lot of fun things to do right before he's going to die, giving him just a real epic way to go out here, I think. So, big action here for Casey Jones. Big bloody action, too. Holy crap, Terminators. Just what the doctor ordered. Again, lots of references to 80s and early 90s sci-fi and sci-fi horror. And like I said before, that really fits with these characters because we're staying kind of ambiguous as to what year we're in. So I want to think that all of these characters grew up in that period, and that's why they're referencing those things. I've talked about this already. April, you okay to get Honeycutt inside and lock it down? I'm good, Mikey, but the professor is in bad shape, and there's a lot of debris jamming the door. Do what you can. I'll hold them off. That's what I'm talking about. Legendary. I'm going to call you the Ledge. I like Casey's voice in this quite a bit. All right, Leonidas, what's the plan? I also like him calling Leonardo Leonidas. How hasn't that come up before? That's great. Maybe it has, and I missed it. I mean, in other things. Okay, so are all these... What's going on in the sky here? Are all these mouse robots, like, flying? Or... Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here. That's something you don't see every day. This is Leonardo talking. Mike, we'll stall these things as long as we can. Yeah, so they're just coming at him in a huge swarm. It's like a biblical plague of mouser robots. Mike, we'll stall these things as long as we can. You get everyone clear and then get word to Donnie and Sensei. Friggin' robot wimps. We'll follow behind as soon as we're done, but do it, Mikey. We got this. Okay, actually, I've been thinking about this wrong because of the sequence of these scenes that we've gotten from this issue to last issue. I keep thinking that Splinter has died already, but I guess that happens later. Okay, I'm a little bit confused about all of that, because they get attacked when they're all supposed to just be in their in the shop having dinner together. And so I guess that scene happens after all of this? But it can't, because Casey's gonna die here. So what am I missing? Like, I thought Splinter died in that scene. Okay. So somebody tell me what I'm missing here. I'm a little bit confused about the order of events here. I'm feeling kind of dumb about that. Guys, no, wait, Professor, your turn to buy the pizza when we're through. Yep, but I picked the toppings. Ham, pineapple, and jalapeno. What is wrong with you? Says Casey. So I've learned in my many travels that some people, that there seems to be a 50-50 split about pineapple on pizza. And maybe it's more like a 70-30 or something, but it seems like that's a big thing that splits people, that divides people, is whether pineapple on pizza is gross. And I don't eat pizza anymore, but when I did, I loved pineapple on pizza, and what Leonardo is suggesting sounds fantastic. And Casey Jones is like Austin. He's like the day ghost. So I'm Leonardo, and Casey is the day ghost. in that he thinks I'm insane in liking that kind of pizza. Senior Sticks, Cap, would you want a mouse unit and use it in the house? No, it seems like there's just too many horrible things. The mousers always end up being, like, attack units. They always end up killing things. So, I don't want anybody to hack into that and start trying to, attack my kids or my pets or something. So I guess not. He also says, Casey Jones, non-mercenary sportsmaster. Bublin, hey Cap, is this your favorite Turtles comic? I'd say no, but I do like it quite a bit, and, I mean, I just read it for the first time last week, so I'm still kind of processing it, and I'm using this exercise to continue to process it, so, I'm sure I'm going to have a somewhat, evolved or different feeling about it by the time I get done reading this to you guys and talking about it. I'm definitely liking the things about the villain less on this read. I know it's me you've come for, Stockman. I'll self-destruct before I let you hurt my friends or imprison me again. You shall not pass! Again, I'm wondering if that's an intentional reference to Lord of the Rings or not. That's one that I do kind of question, because that sort of thing does take me out, where it just seems like he's quoting unnecessarily, and it reads kind of silly, and I don't think it's necessarily on purpose. Senior Sticks is this Splinter part human. Everything about the origins with the Turtles in this are really ambiguous. I don't know for sure. I'm gonna assume that this one is the pet rat version, just because that's what's done. Well, I don't know for sure, because like that's the Mirage version, but the IDW version has him reincarnated, and this is supposed to, it seems like, really fit either of them. So I don't know, and I think even if you continued forward with this with different characters, you could get away with keeping all of that ambiguous because of all the characters we killed off. Very well, if I can't have you, nobody will. And then we get basically just the cover. I say basically, this is just the cover of the book, right? No, it's slightly different. And I do, I guess, appreciate that we didn't just take a full-page spread and make it the cover, but it's pretty similar to the cover. You just have Casey Jones' mask, instead of on a sword, on a piece of debris, but it's a real striking image, and it feels like a throwback to Death of Superman. And now we're back to the present. What the holy hell? I like that transition. I kind of, this kind of panel, I kind of want to take my time and just stop for a minute and take in this moment. Casey Jones has died. And then, what the holy hell? Subway's not running. Total power blackout. Everyone's panicking. And this, of course, is Casey Marie Jones. I knew Hiroto was nuts, but this is beyond insane. Just hope the crew made it to the park okay. Out of my way. Move. Yo, Casey. Thank God. Guys, the hell? Martial law. So she's getting caught up on the insane totalitarian crap that Hiroto is pulling. Yeah, full crackdown. Oh, and if you think he was nuts in that scene, just wait. This could bring down the whole damn resistance. Hope your mutant was worth it, Jones. He ain't my mutant, Breaker. And yeah, Breaker. That's a 90s thug name if ever I've heard one. And yeah, this is bad, but no point freaking out. We need to get word out to the others somehow. Let them know to be ready. I'm working on that, so chill. Everything's gonna be okay. And then internal monologue, she says, I hope. I like that. And then there's a big tank, because it's police state and they're trying to crush the resistance. You was saying, Jones? Everyone underground, now. So I keep mentioning things that that this is influenced by, but there's other kind of, future dystopian things that this reminds me of. There's some Draken Shattered Grid in this, certainly. Halt! If you were here yesterday, we lost track of the number of times I had to say halt. Halt! Stop and be identified. Scrape, you and Scrape. We've got, what was his name? We've got Breaker and Scrape. Those sound like they could have been Shredder goons. You and Crunch, Scrape and Crunch, take out those guards. Copy. Everyone else, over the top. I don't know that that was on purpose. Those names are over the top. And then she says, over the top. And then her guys are attacking the foot soldiers. We gotta split up. Use the tunnels to cover more ground. Me and Lug will go east. I'll take Crunch with me past the park. None of this was funny to me until I started reading it out loud. We got Crunch, and we got Lug. It's great. I'll take Crunch with me to the park, and I'll head west. We'll use the old telecom lines to contact everyone else. When we're all secure, let's shoot to meet at the lair in an hour. Meantime, whatever you do, stand your ground and watch your backs. The top of her face at the bottom of that is almost photorealistic. Damn. Halt and damn, really, the two main words. The two big takeaways you should take from this book is just those words, halt and damn. Do we even have an hour? Gotta get to the lair. Warn Mom. Too many twists and turns down here. Might not make it in time. Told the guys to stick to the sewers, to stay underground. Gonna have to break my own rules. Everybody say it with me. Halt! Crap. Stand and be identified. Help someone, foot bastard. Identify this! Chalk is a good onomatopoeia word. Oh, thank God. Run, I'll handle this. But you'll be killed. Nah, I ain't the one you gotta worry about. I like her. She's spunky, she's fun, she's got some good, quippy dialogue. Halt! Hi! And she's taken out the cyborg. Halt again. Damn it again. Wow, we got halt and damn in the same panel this time. I don't have time for this crap. Once again, we're on the corner of Bleecker and Sullivan. Get out of here. I'll take care of these two scumbags. Whoa. Man, I really got to get back to Mom. So safe to say, Michelangelo's presence, this is an understatement, is causing a lot of problems, is really messing with people's lives, and he didn't mean for any of this to happen. Of course, he was trying to do a kamikaze move in attacking Hiroto head on, but really good actions and consequences in this book. Ow, seriously? And it's got that in common with Dark Knight Returns, certainly. Just hurry up. I hate needles. And stop squirming. I only need a few more vitals. I get that you scientists can't help poking and prodding everything, but am I going to have any blood left after this? What are you, 5 years old? It's barely any blood. That's a detail I like, that as tough and world-weary as Michelangelo has gotten, kind of cold as he is now, he's still got some childlike attributes like that. I need to see what your advanced mutation is doing to your body, but I can get you a lollipop when I'm done, if that helps. Whatever. Just hurry up. Some good banter there. See, now Honeycutt's head seems like the right size to me, out front like that. So how badly damaged is he? Is Honeycutt still in there? I don't know. I think so. I hope so. It's just, I'm pretty sure Stockman found us last time by hacking the security firewalls Fugitoid had developed to keep us hidden during the war. Reactivating him now would be like blasting another come kill us signal to the bad guys. So, good believable reason that she can't just carry out her plan remotely. Well, come kill the rest of us, at least. April, after the explosion, how did I end up here? Didn't happen overnight, that's for sure. After the smoke cleared, a rescue team pulled me out of the rubble and got me to the hospital. So now we're back to that same gritty art that from Eastman. And I don't know if every issue past one has this, but the last two have. Where I woke up about a week later only to find out I'd lost my husband, my friends, my home, my arm, my leg, This is bleak stuff, guys. And oh yeah, surprise, I was pregnant. That is a movie trope, and especially a TV trope, that I'm not always the biggest fan of. Although this is supposed to be melodrama. There's an intentional, as I keep saying, absurdity to Ninja Turtles in the first place. So there's a fine line that it walks sometimes between being, still gritty and dark and serious, but like parody at the same time, and falling into cliche traps. And I'm not loving things like, necessarily, I guess I'm on the fence about it, where like they get married and immediately she gets pregnant, and finds out she's pregnant just after Casey's died. That's kind of easy. That's kind of convenient. And again, kind of a soap opera sort of trope. And same thing with Karai being in a coma. But again, it's comics. I don't expect this to be brilliant, subtle literature or anything. I ended up staying in the hospital for a long time. Lots of physical and mental therapy. Honestly, I don't know which part was harder. Meanwhile, Hiroto and the Foot were taking control of New York. It's gotta be nuts. This is one thing I really kind of latched onto. If you're April, trying to heal and using facilities available to people like hospitals and psychologists and stuff, while there's a psycho dictator taking over and you don't even know how all the laws and rules and things are changing. As work to complete the wall around the city to protect against rising water levels nears its finish date, law enforcement has found itself embroiled in a quickly escalating war against organized crime gangs on the inside. That's interesting. Just that the government would have to, like, make an excuse. So I kind of wonder what's going on there. Like, is it really floods, or is it a conspiracy thing where the government's, like, making an excuse to erect a wall? But if the threat is from the inside, why would they do that? So has Hiroto already taken over enough that he's building the wall under the pretext of he's not taken over? Yeah, I kind of wonder about that. And, yes, maybe that's a reference to, our last American president and such. It's subtle. We're not making a big deal out of it, so I don't care about that part of it. I'm sure that's what everybody's thinking when I say build a wall. Anyway, when they finally discharged me, I had a shiny new arm and leg and a shiny new baby to go along with them. Lucky that she's far enough into a technologically advanced future that she can get a cyborg arm and leg. Things were getting really bad in the city, so I moved us down into the lair. I keep interrupting myself, but I'm also kind of wondering if technology advances a little bit because of Dimension X, or if Krang and all of that stuff even exists in this world. We can't really know because none of that comes up. More like hid us, but it was okay. With the store destroyed and everyone gone, it was all I had to remind me of, well, okay, all done. I guess as long as I was wrong and Splinter wasn't quite dead yet, when they're in the store in the last issue, that all tracks chronologically. I was just confused because I thought he was dead. How did you get Fugitoid's head? But I still think Splinter's death has a lot to do with Michelangelo changing past that. So some of those points still stand. I just kind of made them in the wrong places, maybe. Some of Leo and Casey's strike team who weren't killed in the battle recovered it. Yeah? Where are those guys now? Most of them died fighting Hiroto's forces when he took over. The few that are left are commanding underground resistance units in other parts of the city. This issue has a lot packed into it. Casey Marie told me about the training you did in Asia and Europe, but she didn't say how the hell you got all the way over there. In a fog, mostly. Last thing I remember clearly was trying to get you and the Fugitoid to safety. I don't love the pacing of this bit in this issue, where we're just kind of like going from flashback to flashback, I find myself a little bit anxious to get back to the story with Casey Marie and all of that, because we just flashed back with April, and now we're gonna flash back with Michelangelo, and it feels like kind of a big exposition dump. Except the damn explosion knocked me halfway across the neighborhood and all the way unconscious. I like that turn of phrase, that's good. Don't have any clue how long I was out. So back to Eastman art again. For the sake of consistency, I think I might have preferred the Eastman art to only be used for Michelangelo's flashbacks. A little bit weird that we get it for April, because we've been flashing back to her with the background with the other turtles dying, and Casey, and or I should say just the Foot Clan ruse and all of that, and the Casey dying and stuff, and none of that was done there. And I don't know, I guess maybe the idea of it is, maybe the consistency of it is just Aftermath, where it's like we're gonna use more regular artwork for the big action stuff, and then the real bleak, we're getting into the dystopia parts where April and Michelangelo respectively are each finding themselves again, or like licking their wounds. That stuff's going to be done in this art. But I think maybe he should have just stuck to doing that for Michelangelo's stuff. It's a nitpick. It's not a big deal. By the time I came to, the store was gone, and I figured everyone with it. I just didn't think there was any way anyone could have survived. This is all very tragic. Not that I was thinking clearly about anything. It was all kind of a haze for a while. We're already past an hour, but I think we're almost through here. All I know is I found my way down to the sewer somehow, then to the lair. I tried calling Donnie to warn him and Father, but nothing. Okay, so he still thinks that Splinter might possibly be alive here, so he definitely didn't die on that scene like I thought he did. So I just interpreted that whole thing incorrectly. My apologies. I was confused and desperate. All I could think was I had to save them. So this stuff, by the way, is very Miller, the silhouette with him jumping on rooftops. A lot more Dark Knight Returns in this issue than in the rest of it so far. So I grabbed some things from the lair and weapons and other stuff and stowed away on a plane to Japan as fast as I could. I was hoping I could reach them in time. I just didn't know what else to do. I know what you're thinking, but it's not your fault, Mikey. None of it. The counselors I worked with called it survivor's guilt, and I had plenty of it after the explosion. I like her pained expression here. It took a while, lots of therapy, lots of tears, but I finally realized there was nothing I could have done to change the things that happened. I wonder how she explained any of that stuff to therapists. But that doesn't mean I have to accept what's happening now. Senior Sticks asked earlier, do turtles bleed easily? And if you haven't been here in the other videos, we learned last issue that Michelangelo is, his mutation is evolving, and so he doesn't bleed as easily as he used to. And then she says, none of us do. I think I know how to beat Hiroto. Then you need to show us how right now, because all hell's breaking loose in Rock Bottom. And that's Casey. And now we get to the craziest, most insane part of this issue. We get to listen to Hiroto rambling again about his godhood. And then he just does something totally nuts and wacky, and it will be fun to talk about. This looks more like a, I don't know, like Greg Capullo drawing than anything to me. Look at them down there. Tiny little insects, begging to be crushed, oblivious to the giant who towers over them, to me. Well, it can't be that oblivious. You just made it a huge hologram and spoke to all of them. I am the one. You're not Neo. I am the one they owe their entire pathetic existence to. I am the one who gives them all they need, and I am the one who could crush them without a second thought, and yet they act like children. spoiled, entitled children. Does that remind you of anybody? It kind of sounds like he's just talking about himself right now. He's not real self-aware, is he? I give them orders, and still they whine and they protest. Speaking of protesting, and I have been far too indulgent. The fools forget who rules all here, whose very will could bring it all crashing down with a single word. I am their God incarnate. God made flesh, flesh and blood. I am their master, I alone. So you can see he's real. He's got this kind of inner conflict where he has to recognize that he's not actually a god and he can be killed, but he doesn't like that. And yeah, he's nuts. He's just totally out to lunch. All alone. You left me, mother. So yeah, he needs to see a therapist. Left me in charge of an empire, and before that, as a small boy, your only son. Why? Why? This stuff honestly is a little over the top to me. And why does that have to be 2 whole pages? Ha 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 ha! Because you knew what I could do, what I was capable of, mother. And you, Oroku Saki, grandfather, Shredder, you see me now, don't you? I am all you aspired to be, and more. He's got some vindictiveness about, I guess, he doesn't like failure, does he? But you know, he needed to lose his mother and his grandfather in order to even be in the position he's in. You're heir. You're better. But what does it matter? He does remind me of Draken a little bit. But what does it matter? You're dead. Dead, dead, dead. And I live. I want to take this monologue to like an audition, try to get a role in a play, try to get cast in something with this. Flesh of your flesh, blood of your blood, left behind to find my own way, my own path, and from your failure I will rise. Rise to our greatest triumph. Ha 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 ha! So he's just an idiot. He's just running all over a roof, talking to himself, and he trips on a ledge, and he almost kills himself. Oomph! Ha ha ha! I will not die today. In the most embarrassing way possible. Left alone on the streets to rot. No, I will never again be forgotten. Abandoned. I am God. Immortal. A lot of self-projection going on. That's what I was trying to say earlier. My angels will not allow it. Ha 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 ha! And then this is a good transition. You're crazy, which is going to be a different character talking about something unrelated. But I guess just to drive the point home that, yeah, this guy is totally whacked out. He's a total lunatic. I guess he's not being careful at all up on a roof because he's like, I control the whole city. I've even got robots that fly around and will grab me out of the air. Is this supposed to be a callback to Shredder falling off the roof and killing himself in the first issue, where like that's his big failure and it was real clumsy, and like he doesn't totally take himself out, but like he's it's a pretty dumb way to go, a dumb ways to die. Is this supposed to be kind of like that? I'm not sure. So now we get a 2-page spread of panels. So let's take a look at this. We are nearly there, guys. I mean, this is taking longer, partly because I probably stopped more often than last time, but also there's a lot more words in this issue. Here's Michelangelo. I mean, I get the concept, April, but come on. It's like a 1,000,000,000 to 1 shot. More like our only shot, Mikey, with way too many variables, too many moving parts, too many lives lost. So correct me if I'm wrong. Baxter Stockman's got his own headquarters. And by the way, I kind of wondered if Baxter was still alive on first read until we get to this part, because we've only seen him in that flashback so far. Baxter Stockman's got his own headquarters, fortress, whatever, and we need to attack it and shut him down before we can take out Hiroto. And our only shot is to try and activate Honeycutt during the attack, and if he wakes up, maybe he'll help us knock out Baxter's tech. I'm sorry, I can't buy into this. And I can see why right now he would think that his crazy plan was like just as valid as this one. Every plan, no matter the odds, has risks. You know that. This is April. At least these are better odds than a 100-year-old mutant attacking Hiroto directly. Okay, so I assume that Casey is being facetious there or exaggerating. I don't think that Michelangelo is 100 years old. He can't be, because, you know, April would be older than him, I would think. And I don't think she's 100. And like I already said, we don't need your permission. Although, again, we are being somewhat ambiguous as how much time has passed, I think. We know how much time passed earlier with the flashback. You had like I think like a 16-year thing between events, maybe? I forget. But up to now, I'm not sure. This isn't about permission. This is about reality. Do y'all have a death wish or what? Look who's talking. That was a good comeback. And we were dying before you got here. You just made it worse. Enough. I like this exchange given the relationship that Casey and Michelangelo are going to start developing next issue. Come with me, Mikey. There's something else you need to see. April, they're just kids. You need to let me do my own thing. Just humor me, okay? Fine, but I won't change my mind. Look, I've run enough schematics on Honeycutt over the years to know everything's still functional. He's just in stasis right now to avoid detection. It's the same reason we run things as low-tech as we do down here, because we know Stockman's always sniffing. Sniffing, that's word choice. Holy, I've been prepping for a long time, Mikey. It's funny that we're going to have a big reveal of this turtle van, but this kind of turtle tank, but you already get to see the front of it before we get the big full-page spread we're about to have. Let's see. I've been prepping for a long time, Mikey, getting ready for the one last fight for our freedom. I knew was eventually coming, waiting for the right moment when we could strike most effectively. I've been planning. And I've been building. I think Donnie would approve, don't you? Yeah, what is it? Just a little something to help even the odds. Well, I think what it really is the Batmobile from Dark Knight Returns, which is another clear homage. We're definitely doing that. And we're also definitely priming Casey to kind of be the Carrie Kelly Robin to Michelangelo's Batman. We'll see a lot more of that next issue, of course. But I was having that thought even here where they're kind of at odds and arguing a little bit, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's where that's going. Spoiler alert, that is where that is ultimately going. Anyway, I've prowled on long enough. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Page by Page. And I will try to get issue 4 out very soon. I've done one of these the last 3 days in a row, and it has been a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. So I'll see you again real soon. I'm Captain Logan, and leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about, or how you're feeling about this series, or if you've read all of it, what your overall thoughts are. And I'll see you again real soon.